A quiet shift inside Social Security payments. Before most of America fully wakes up, something important has already happened. It didn't make headlines. It didn't trigger an alert. And for many seniors, it went unnoticed, at least at first. Overnight, Social Security payments for 2026 began moving through the system. And when those deposits started appearing in bank accounts, many retirees noticed something unexpected. The numbers didn't look the same as they did just weeks earlier. Some payments were higher, others looked slightly different. And for many people, the change was just subtle enough to cause hesitation. That moment, when you pause, look twice, and wonder whether what you're seeing is correct, is more common than most seniors realize. When Social Security is the foundation of your monthly income, even a small change can feel unsettling. You start asking quiet questions. Did I miss something? Is this right? Should I be worried? What makes this moment different isn't just that payments are changing. It's that they're changing quietly. There's no clear letter explaining what happened in plain language. No simple breakdown telling you why your deposit looks the way it does. And yet, Social Security isn't just another government program. For millions of older Americans, it's what keeps daily life steady, paying for groceries, prescriptions, housing, and basic peace of mind. So when something shifts, even silently, it deserves your full attention. Because understanding what's happening now can mean the difference between unnecessary worry and long-term confidence. Why 2026 feels heavier for seniors on fixed incomes. To understand why these quiet changes matter so much in 2026, you have to look at the financial reality many seniors are living with right now. Over the past few years, the cost of everyday life has shifted in ways that are hard to ignore, especially if your income doesn't change easily. Grocery bills don't stretch the way they once did. Prescription medications cost more, even with insurance. Housing, whether you rent or own, demands a larger share of your monthly budget. And when you're living on a fixed income, there's very little room to absorb those increases. Every dollar has a job. Every adjustment matters. Social Security was designed to respond to these pressures, but not always in ways that feel clear or transparent to the people receiving the money. Adjustments are calculated quietly, applied automatically, and rarely explained in plain language. That's why some seniors wake up to a higher deposit and feel relief, while others feel confused or uneasy when the number doesn't match what they expected. The key thing to understand is this: these changes are not random, and they are not favors. They are the result of long-standing formulas that react to inflation, economic conditions, and individual benefit histories. The system is doing what it was built to do, even if it doesn't always communicate that well. And unless you understand that basic truth, it's easy to assume something is wrong, when in reality something very intentional is happening behind the scenes. When your payment arrives can create unnecessary panic. For many seniors, the first sign that something feels wrong isn't the amount of their Social Security payment, it's the timing. A deposit that usually shows up on a certain day suddenly doesn't appear, and anxiety sets in almost immediately. Social Security payments do not arrive randomly. They follow a very specific schedule that many retirees were never clearly taught. In most cases, your payment date is tied to your birthday. If you were born early in the month, your deposit usually arrives earlier. If your birthday falls later, your payment is scheduled for a later Wednesday. That system has been in place for years, yet it still catches people off guard. Someone checks their bank account on the wrong day, sees nothing there, and assumes something has gone wrong. In reality, the system may be working exactly as designed. For some seniors, the situation is even more confusing. Those who began receiving benefits before the late 1990s, or those who receive additional forms of assistance alongside Social Security, often follow a completely different payment calendar. Add weekends and federal holidays into the mix, and delays can feel alarming if you don't know what to expect. Understanding this schedule isn't just about knowing when your money arrives. It's about knowing when not to panic. In a time when every dollar matters, that knowledge alone can prevent unnecessary stress and help you respond calmly instead of reacting out of fear. The 2.5% increase sounds small until you live with it now. Let's talk about the change most seniors notice first, the actual dollar amount showing up in their bank account. For 2026, Social Security payments were adjusted to reflect rising living costs through what's known as a cost of living adjustment, or COLA. This year, that adjustment is set at 2.5%. On paper, 2.5% doesn't sound like much, Many retirees hear that number and feel underwhelmed, especially after years of rising prices. It can feel disconnected from the reality of grocery bills, prescriptions, and utilities that keep climbing month after month. But when you slow down and look at what that increase actually means over time, the picture changes. If your benefit was around $2,000 per month last year, a 2.5% increase adds roughly $50 each month. Over the course of a year, that's about $600 more. For couples where both partners receive benefits, that difference can double. That extra money may not feel dramatic all at once, but it often shows up where it matters most. Fewer worries at the grocery store, an easier time refilling a prescription, or a little breathing room in a tight budget. It's also important to understand that this increase was applied automatically. You didn't have to request it. You didn't have to fill out forms. That's why so many people noticed a higher deposit without any explanation. It wasn't a bonus. It wasn't a mistake. It was the system responding exactly as it was designed to. Why your increase doesn't match someone else's. One of the fastest ways confusion spreads among seniors is through comparison. A neighbor mentions their Social Security payment went up more than expected. A friend says theirs barely changed, and suddenly doubt takes hold. Did I do something wrong? Did I miss out on something I should have received? In most cases, the answer is no. Social Security benefits are not based on a flat amount that everyone receives. They are built on your individual work history. The system looks at your highest earning years, adjusts those earnings for inflation, and then applies a formula that intentionally gives proportionally more support to people with lower lifetime earnings. This design is deliberate. It's meant to protect those who had less room to save over their working years. That's why two retirees can both receive the same 2.5% adjustment and still see very different dollar increases. The percentage is identical, the base amount is not, and that difference can feel personal, even though it's purely mathematical. There's another factor that often adds to the confusion: deductions. Many seniors have costs automatically taken out of their Social Security before the deposit reaches their bank account. The most common is Medicare Part B. For 2026, those premiums increased. That means your gross benefit may be higher, while your net deposit looks smaller than expected. This is why comparing checks rarely brings peace of mind. Your benefit reflects your history, your timing, and your situation, not your effort or your worth. The extra benefits. Many seniors never realize they qualify for beyond basic retirement checks. There's another layer of Social Security support that often goes unnoticed, even by people who qualify for it. These supplemental benefits were created to help seniors with very limited income and resources meet basic needs like food and housing. For those who receive them, the impact can be meaningful, but eligibility depends on strict income and asset limits, and the rules are rarely explained in a clear, straightforward way. Many seniors assume that if they qualify, the system will automatically include these payments. In many cases, that assumption is wrong. What makes this even more confusing is that where you live matters. Some states provide additional supplemental support on top of federal benefits, while others do not. As a result, two seniors with nearly identical financial situations can end up with very different monthly income, simply because they live in different states. This isn't widely discussed, and many people assume Social Security works the same way everywhere. It doesn't. And here's the most important part. Many of these supplemental benefits require an application. You must actively apply and provide accurate information to receive them. If no one ever tells you this, it's easy to miss out on help that was specifically designed for people in your situation. Years can pass. Thousands of dollars can go unclaimed. Understanding this isn't about memorizing rules, it's about awareness. When you know that additional support exists and that location and action matter, you're far less likely to feel confused or anxious when your deposit changes. Benefits. Tied to marriage, loss, and life changes. For many seniors, Social Security isn't just about numbers. It's tied to marriage, loss, and major life transitions. And this is one area where a surprising number of people are eligible for more than they realize, but never receive it. Spousal benefits exist to recognize that retirement is often a shared journey. If you're married and your spouse earned significantly more than you over their working years, you may qualify for a benefit based on their record. This can be up to half of what your spouse is entitled to at full retirement age. Importantly, claiming this benefit does not reduce your spouse's payment. Yet many people never apply because they assume it happens automatically or they believe it doesn't apply to them. Survivor benefits are even more misunderstood. If your spouse has passed away and was receiving Social Security, you may be eligible to step up to their full benefit amount if it's higher than your own. For widows and widowers, this can mean a meaningful increase in monthly income during a time when finances often feel more fragile. But once again, this usually requires an application. There are also divorced spouse benefits. If you were married for at least 10 years and are currently unmarried, you may be able to claim benefits based on your former spouse's work record, even if they've remarried. These benefits are provided by law. They aren't favors and they don't take money away from anyone else. When they're overlooked, the cost isn't just financial, it's peace of mind. The one tool that helps you stay in control. After understanding what benefits you may qualify for, the next critical step is making sure what you're receiving is accurate and secure. One of the most powerful tools available to seniors today is an online Social Security account, yet many people still don't use it. This account allows you to see your payment history, your current benefit amount, and any recent adjustments that have been applied. You can confirm exactly when your payments are scheduled to arrive and review how those amounts are calculated. Instead of guessing or worrying, you're able to see the information clearly for yourself. For many seniors, hesitation around online systems is understandable. These tools weren't common during much of their working lives, and concerns about privacy are natural. But having direct access to your Social Security information can prevent small issues from becoming major problems. It allows you to catch errors early before they turn into months of missed income or stressful phone calls. One of the most common reasons payments are delayed or misdirected is outdated banking information. Changing banks or closing an old account without updating Social Security can quietly interrupt your payments, and your bank will not notify Social Security for you. That responsibility rests with the beneficiary. Staying engaged, even in simple ways, protects the income you depend on and reinforces confidence that what you worked for is being handled with care. Working while receiving Social Security can change your check. For many seniors, continuing to work after retirement is not only common, it's necessary. Some work part-time to supplement their income. Others enjoy staying active and connected. But this is also one of the areas where Social Security rules quietly surprise people. If you are receiving Social Security before reaching full retirement age, there is an annual earnings limit you need to be aware of. For 2026, that limit is just over $23,000. If your earnings go beyond that amount, Social Security may temporarily withhold a portion of your benefits. When this happens without warning, it can be deeply unsettling. A deposit may suddenly be smaller than expected, or may not arrive at all. Many seniors assume they've done something wrong or that their benefits have been cut permanently. In reality, that's not what's happening. This withholding is not a penalty, and it is not permanent. Once you reach full retirement age, the benefits that were withheld are recalculated and gradually added back into your future payments. The system is adjusting for timing, not taking money away forever. Still, if you rely on Social Security to cover essentials like housing, food, and medical costs, even a temporary reduction can cause real stress. That's why understanding these earnings limits ahead of time is so important. When you plan your work income with awareness, you avoid unpleasant surprises and protect the stability of the income you depend on. Why Social Security can still be taxed. One of the biggest shocks many seniors experience doesn't come from their Social Security deposit. It comes months later, at tax time. A large number of retirees genuinely believe Social Security benefits are always tax-free. For some people, that's true. For many others, it's not. Whether your Social Security is taxed depends on what the IRS calls combined income. This includes half of your Social Security benefits plus other income sources such as pensions, investment income, or withdrawals from retirement accounts. Once that combined income crosses certain thresholds, a portion of your Social Security becomes taxable. For some seniors, up to 50% of their benefit may be counted as taxable income. For others, it can be as much as 85%. That does not mean 85% of your benefit is taken away. It means that portion is included when calculating your federal income tax. The distinction is important, but it's rarely explained clearly. When taxes aren't planned for, they tend to arrive as an unpleasant surprise. A bill you didn't expect can create real stress, especially on a fixed income. The good news is that there are ways to manage this more smoothly. One option many seniors don't realize they have is voluntary tax withholding from Social Security payments. By having a small percentage withheld each month, you spread the tax responsibility throughout the year instead of facing one large bill. Awareness here isn't about fear, it's about control. When you start, Social Security shapes the rest of retirement. One of the most important and most misunderstood decisions in Social Security is when to start collecting benefits. You can begin as early as age 62. You can wait until full retirement age, or you can delay even longer, up to age 70. Each option has long-term consequences, and none of them are automatically right or wrong. Starting early means you receive payments sooner, but at a permanently reduced monthly amount. For some seniors, that early income is necessary to cover immediate expenses. For others, it leads to regret years later, when smaller checks feel harder to live on. Waiting until full retirement age increases your monthly benefit and avoids early reduction. Delaying beyond that point increases your payment by about 8% for each year you wait up to age 70. For people who live longer lives, that increase can provide meaningful financial stability later on, especially as healthcare costs tend to rise with age. But this decision isn't just about math. Health, family longevity, current savings, and personal comfort all matter. Someone in excellent health with a family history of long lives may benefit greatly from waiting. Someone facing health challenges or financial pressure may find earlier filing more sensible. The real danger is making this decision out of fear or confusion. Social Security was never meant to be one size fits all. The best choice is the one made intentionally, with clarity, not pressure. Knowledge is what turns uncertainty into calm. When you step back and look at everything we've covered so far, a clear pattern begins to emerge. Most of the stress surrounding Social Security doesn't come from the system itself. It comes from uncertainty, from not knowing why a number changed when a payment arrives or whether something important has been overlooked. Social Security is managed by a large and complex system. Adjustments happen quietly. Deductions are applied automatically. Rules take effect whether or not they're clearly explained. And when people aren't aware of how these moving parts work, even a small change can feel like a serious threat to stability. But something important happens when you understand the basics. A delayed payment becomes a timing question, not a crisis. A smaller deposit becomes something to review, not something to fear. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond calmly and deliberately. This isn't about memorizing rules or becoming a financial expert. It's about awareness, knowing that increases exist, that deductions matter, that additional benefits may apply, and that many changes are automatic gives you context. And context is powerful. When you're informed, fear loses its grip. Confusion gives way to confidence. You stop feeling like changes are happening to you and start recognizing how and why they happen. In retirement, that sense of control is just as valuable as the income itself because peace of mind isn't accidental, it's built on understanding. The quiet changes of 2026 are a wake-up call. As 2026 moves forward, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The changes happening inside Social Security are not dramatic, but they are meaningful. They don't arrive with warnings or explanations. They show up quietly inside a bank deposit, often leaving seniors to figure out the meaning on their own. And that's why this moment matters. The quiet increases, the subtle deductions, the timing shifts, none of these exist to confuse or punish you. They exist because Social Security is constantly adjusting to economic conditions, inflation, and individual circumstances. But when those adjustments aren't understood, they can create unnecessary fear. Many seniors carry a quiet worry they rarely talk about, a concern that if something changes, they won't notice it in time. Or worse, they'll assume it's normal when it's not. That fear doesn't come from weakness. It comes from lack of clear information. What protects you isn't luck, it's awareness. Knowing why your payment changed, knowing what questions to ask, knowing when to double-check instead of second-guessing yourself. When you understand how the system works, even at a basic level, you stop feeling at its mercy. Social Security was built to be a foundation, not a source of stress, and the more informed you are, the steadier that foundation feels. These quiet changes of 2026 are a reminder. Staying informed isn't optional anymore. It's how you protect what you earned and how you move through retirement with confidence instead of constant worry. A final message about confidence and control. As we reach the end of this discussion, take a quiet moment to breathe. If some of this information felt new or even a little heavy, that's completely normal. Social Security was never explained clearly to most people, yet it plays a central role in life after 60. What matters most is not that you remember every rule or every number. What matters is that you now understand something essential. Changes don't simply happen to you. When you're informed, you can see them coming, recognize what they mean, and respond with confidence instead of fear. The quiet increases of 2026 aren't just about a few extra dollars each month. They're a reminder that this system, while complex, was built to support you. And understanding how it works is one of the strongest forms of self-protection you have in retirement. You worked for these benefits. You planned your life around them. You deserve to feel secure knowing how they function and how to make sure you're receiving everything you're entitled to under the law. Confidence in retirement doesn't come from ignoring change. It comes from understanding it calmly, clearly, and on your own terms. And when you move forward with that understanding, uncertainty loses its power. What remains is stability, clarity, and peace of mind, the kind that lets you focus on living, not worrying.